World Cup is almost upon us, and I'm looking forward to enjoying a summer of competitive football without the stress following our beloved Arsenal has caused us in recent years. I'll be vegetating on the couch, sipping on my cold beverage and indulging in as much of the action as my work schedule will physically allow me to. Meanwhile, in North London, Unai Emery will be locked in his office mapping out his plans for the 2018-19 season and trying to find a cupboard big enough for those dossiers he had to have wheeled into his job interview. USB stick sales are set to rise in North London, and it's just as well Shkodran Mustafi hasn't been called up by Germany because he's got at least 20 hours of mistakes to review. Jokes aside, Unai has plenty to be getting on with, and given what we know of his meticulous nature, I wouldn't be surprised if this summer consists of plenty of late nights and the best takeaway food the London Colney area has to offer. When a new manager, or should I say head coach, arrives, he gives players the chance to wipe the slate clean and eliminate some of the misconceptions the previous manager may have had of them. For Chronicles AFC, I decided to share my views on 5 players who I feel underperformed last season and whether or not I believe they should feature in Emery's plans. Now, this was difficult because there were so many that underperformed. I probably could have picked 11, but I've tried to narrow it down as much as possible. So here are my 5. Number 1, Shkodran Mustafi. Having shelled out in excess of £36 million to secure his services back in August 2016, I find it difficult to believe the club would recuperate even half of that investment were he to be sold this summer. Shkodran may have a World Cup winners medal in his possession, but you cannot deny his form throughout our latest campaign was bordering on embarrassing, with the German being personally responsible for some of our worst defensive displays of the season, of which there were many. Given the fact we're rumoured to have limited resources available this summer, and that I still believe just a tiny bit that there's a player in there somewhere, I'd give him one more year in the hope Emery can improve him and the collective defence around him. So my verdict on Mustafi is keep. Moving on to number 2, Jack Wilshere. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't it reported fairly recently that Jack was ready to pen a new deal? Well, that's yet to happen, and the delay in any announcement suggests the issue remains unresolved. Perhaps he's waiting for a meeting with the new manager in order to ascertain whether or not he features in the Spaniard's plans. I'm not privy to what goes on within the club. I only know what you know regarding this situation, which isn't very much. But taking into account Emery's style of play and the levels of fitness he demands from his midfield players, I wouldn't be surprised if Jack decides to leave from fear of breaking down again. My verdict on Jack is let him go. Might not be a popular opinion, but that's where I stand on it. Number 3, Alex Iwobi. Alex is a player I feel often gets more criticism than his performances actually warrant. If you cast your mind back to when he first arrived on the scene, he had an immediate impact and impressed instantly. In my opinion, he's one of a number of young players whose development stagnated under Arsene Wenger, and a good World Cup with the Super Eagles could see him rediscover the confidence he's so clearly lacking. His work rate, ability to dribble and vision shouldn't be questioned, and I truly believe his incompetence in front of goal is down to a lack of belief in his own ability. If the new coach puts his arm around him, deploys him effectively and can channel the talent he undoubtedly has, Alex Iwobi could play a big role next season. So my verdict on Iwobi is keep him. Number 4, Laurent Koscielny. Lauren's injuries have been well documented, particularly during the past couple of seasons, where it's reported he's been receiving regular injections just to be available most match days. The Frenchman's best days are clearly behind him, and the injury he suffered out in Madrid leaves me and many others wondering if he'll ever fully recover. The rehabilitation process will be a long one, and in my opinion, the new coach will need to plan for life without Koscielny. If he can eventually get himself fit again, well, that's a bonus. I guess based on loyalty and how long he's been with the club, you can't exactly put him up for sale. I'd keep him at the club, but I'd certainly be planning for life without him. And like I said, if he can get fit, then that's a bonus. Number 5, Petr Cech. Petr was recently given the number 1 shirt, to most supporters' disappointment, but this doesn't necessarily mean he'll be Emery's first choice goalkeeper come August. It's more of a publicity stunt and more of a commercial thing if you ask me. After all, he was the first choice last year and he wore the number 33 all season. The point I'm trying to make is that gone are the days shirt numbers was something to go by. I suspect and hope Emery will be in the market for a new goalkeeper, and I get the impression this coach will select his team on merit as opposed to their squad numbers or seniority. Petr Cech's been described as many by over the hill, and based on his overall form last season, it's difficult to argue against that. so I'd probably let him go. Those are my 5. I'm sure some of you will have a different 5. Let us know in the comments section what you think, what you agree with, what you disagree with. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and like, and of course share this video. Until next time, thank you very much.